Thank you, Colin. Hello, everybody. I'm going to echo kind of what you've already heard, but it's great to see everybody in this room. The support, the network, the scholars. I mean, you all know the story of the fund, and it's just an unbelievable thing. And this is kind of a full circle moment for me, uniquely. Starting with the fund, fortunate to be a board member. I grew up in the game. I caddied. I worked in a golf shop. I'm not a scholar. I was fortunate to get a golf scholarship, but that's why I'm just very passionately involved because, you know, what golf has given me from working in the game, playing in the game, networking, it's priceless, and I'm forever grateful for the game of golf and being involved with a fund like this. So, and then the full circle keeps continuing for me because FM is here, which I'll properly introduce Beth here in a minute, but I played golf for a long time on the LPGA, transitioned out, and now I work in insurance. And FM is obviously a big player in the insurance world. And the circle continues with the LPGA. And Patrick is here, and obviously having played on the LPGA Tour, got to play in the LPGA event last year. This is a really cool thing to be a part of. So without further ado, I will introduce you both. I'm going to read off paper here so I don't butcher your biographies, although I know a lot about you. But Beth DuBuque, she leads and oversees FM's sports sponsorship strategy and planning team. She was a founding member of the team when FM entered the sponsorship space only about 2 years ago. In just those 2 short years, FM has really stood up. They've grown and to include their sponsorships with the LPGA, including the title tournament here at TPC, the FM Championship, the Boston Common Golf, which is part of the TGL, the American Junior Golf Association, PGA Women's Clinics, and player ambassadors with our own local star, LPGA, Megan Kang, and some guy on the PGA Tour named Rory McIlroy, and another local favorite, Brad Faxon. Beth she's been with FM for 4 years, but prior to, she was at Fidelity for about 21 years. And one thing you did not put in your bio, you're a BC alum.
Yes.
Go Eagles.
I should have put that.
Yeah, there we go.
BC. Double Eagle. Double.
Yeah. Patrick is a senior director at the LPGA, and he's the tournament director for the tournament here, leading on Boston-based business. He drives the growth and delivers exceptional experiences across LPGA properties. With over 15 years of experience, he's got a background spanning both in the agency world and the property roles, and he's passionate about creating world-class events, meaningful programming, empowering brands, strengthening communities, and supporting important causes. So in saying that, obviously there is a focal point of the tournament here in Norton, and FM has clearly stood up to answer the bell on a lot of things. So I guess I'll ask this question to both of you, but what were some of those priorities once that team developed at FM Global, and why did you choose the LPGA?
Yeah, no, great question. So at FM, we're a commercial property insurer, which means we insure big manufacturing plants, big buildings across the globe. Good examples are Disney World, everybody knows that one. A lot of the MLB stadiums, again, huge manufacturing. The difference with FM is we don't have any actuaries on staff. We are 100% engineers. So what that means is our engineers are going out to buildings, they're assessing, they're writing the policy, and they're giving recommendations of, hey, if you make these 9 improvements to your business, we think that you're going to prosper as a business. It's risk mitigation, and if a disaster strikes, you are better prepared for that disaster. We are a company that is about almost 200 years old and have never really advertised or done strategic marketing because the business has just really worked on its own. But times are different, and everybody's looking at growth and how to expand. So about 5 years ago, the company shifted into more of a strategic mindset, and sponsorships, obviously, is a marketing tactic to help you get there. So we had a lot of conversations internally about what is the right sponsorship, what's the right arena. There were flowcharts and graphs and all kinds of mathematical equations to figure out what is the best fit. We went through all of the models, and we were really looking to align with an organization that shared the same values that we had and the same mission as a company. And really what our value prop is based on is partnership, protection, and progress. And we can talk a little bit more about that when we get into it, but looking at those 3 pillars and looking at the LPGA, we found a lot of alignment with the 3 of those in what they were also trying to do too. So the funny story is when our senior team met with the commissioner of the LPGA at the time 2 years ago. There was a meeting in Florida. The LPGA was all ready to come in and make this huge sale, and the joke is we were the ones to pitch ourselves of why we were the right partner, and that's sort of how the story was born.
That does not happen in our world. I think I'll add to that in terms of what FM has sort of stepped up to the plate and helped deliver here in Boston is I got a call shortly after that partnership was announced. We announced a $3.5 million purse, which at the time we announced it was the largest. Another title partner came in and one upped them by about $100,000, and I got a call shortly thereafter from Beth saying, "Hey, I spoke to our CFO Kevin. We want to raise the purse to $3.8 million." I said to Beth, "We haven't even started this partnership yet. Are you sure?" So not only do we get pitched not very often for title partnerships, but very rarely do we have a partner supporting all of our female athletes the way that FM has stepped up. And for a first-year partner to do that has been pretty amazing.
Yeah, I played in the event last year, and I'll never forget, and I brought this up to you the other day. We were at a reception, and it was Beth and a couple of the other senior leaders at FM, and they kind of said, "Are we doing enough? Are the players happy? You know, is the sponsorship the title?" And I'm like, "You guys are the largest purse. Everything. We had the player dinner was at Fenway Park. People were having a blast. I mean, it's the top tier event. It's the largest purse outside of a major. And I think this year, is it over? It's like 4.1.
4.1 million. Yep.
Which for the room, it's $1 million more than any other purse that's not a major. So they've really kind of stepped up. So.
A few things. Sorry,
go.
I'm gonna go here.
Please do. You're taking it.
I want to keep right. So not only do we have a large purse, but I think our players and Allison, I love kind of to hear like when you're out competing, the story of that. But our players have a ton of expenses week over week, and so not only do we have a high purse, FM has put all of our players up in a hotel, full accommodations for the week. There's players' dinners. There's flight credits. There's so many things that, again, this does not happen regularly, and so just wanted to kind of build on that and recognize that. I think that's one thing our former commissioner, Molly, did a great job of is just sort of trying to make that gap between the LPGA Tour and the PGA Tour a little bit less, and so that doesn't happen without partners like FM and our title sponsors across the board.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and I think really we were looking to give back to the community in a way. Obviously, when you do sponsorship, it's a fewfold. You want to tell your brand story. It was a great platform for us to be able to get into a global marketplace. We are a global company, and having a sponsorship like LPGA and FM Championship allowed us to do that. It's the client experience, bringing our clients to something unique like the FM Championship or some of the other LPG events around the world. But it's also the connection that we have at FM. Again, commercial property insurance firm, but really an engineering firm, not an engineer. We'll never be an engineer. But it's fascinating to work with over 2,000 engineers when you're in marketing and sponsorship. But really looking at STEM and looking at the story of STEM and supporting women in engineering, youth in leadership, in careers down the line. And the LPGA, a lot of the commitments that you make, that is something that we definitely wanted to support and make a name in. And not just give back to the community for a charitable sake, but really to help grow the sport. We know that in insurance, golf is the sport of insurance. And we also know that a lot of people in insurance and in other businesses haven't had access to golf. Sometimes women just aren't comfortable. They certainly have the means, but they don't have the confidence or the access. And partnering with the LPGA and again with the PGA Women's Clinics has opened the doors for us to be able to not only support our local community, global community, but also our employees and our workforce as well.
That's awesome. And then Patrick, more to you on the LPGA and event management. I know when you first were getting this off the ground, right? I know we met and we were kind of talking about businesses in Boston, and this was pre-FM, so don't get and just kind of the collaboration of, there's obviously a title sponsor, there's a ton of back back help, right? There's a lot of corporations and companies that come in and help the LPGA. It's a lot of work. Like I know you put a team together. I mean, putting your ducks in a row, can you give some insight to that?
Yeah, so we are a small team. In market, we have 2 individuals. One who manages our volunteer program. So takes about 700 volunteers they actually pay us to volunteer. Now, those costs actually offset some expenses that we have, uniform, et cetera. So she manages our volunteer program. We've got about 20 committee chairs that oversee. They're kind of our lifeblood of the event, frankly. And so Bailey manages them. We've got an individual on the sales side, so really delivering and driving partnerships locally. So if anybody wants to sponsor the FM Championship in this room, I'd be more than happy to chat. And then I really spend my time kind of connecting all of our internal and external stakeholders. So, we're responsible for all the operations and logistics of the event. We're responsible for delivering on our promise to FM. So there is a lot that goes into it, but I will say, I think it was about 2 years ago, Colin, that we met on a site tour of TPC Boston as we were sort of making our rounds, trying to figure out where we were going to play the FM Championship, and we were brought down to the golf house and met with Colin and had the opportunity to work in a ton of different markets, not only nationally but globally. And I will say the golf fabric of Massachusetts has been incredible, and Ouimet is obviously a big part of that. So it's been awesome to get to know Colin through our tournament. Ouimet plays a role in our event. We've got about 52 teams that participate in a Pro-Am on Wednesday, and we work with Colin and team to staff, and every group gets two caddies through the Ouimet Fund. So it's been awesome to build relationships, something I love doing. And so, being in this community has been amazing. So looking forward to a long run. Beth, we've got, 4 more years on the contract,
Yeah,
and she's already promised me that there's 10 or 15 left. So.
I hope so. It's been a great partnership.
I actually encourage you guys all to, if you're at a club with caddies, encourage them to go to the event. I had a couple of the caddies in my group in the Pro-Am, and it was, some of them were like kids in a candy shop. They'd see a big name, and they'd be like, oh, do you know so-and-so? And it was a really fun event, and I think they got a lot out of it. But so women's sports, I'm going to be selfish here for a minute and talk about women's sports.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's a topic right now. It's trendy, if you will. And and excuse my ignorance here, in terms of your partnerships when you guys were developing, what was the right fit? Obviously, LPGA was a fit. Megan Kang, a female athlete. Was the LPGA the first sponsorship of a golf-related event, if you will, or sport-related event?
It was the first formal contract, I would say. I think as all organizations do, you're always going to do hospitality across. We had done the U.S. Open was it 3 years ago now at the Country Club. We did the U.S. Senior Open, sort of as hospitality. But yes, this was our first formal one. And like I said, we benchmarked different organizations, different industries, different sports. And the LPGA came out on top of that. When we decided to make the commitment and the investment into LPGA, we also made a conscious decision to support an LPG pro golfer and did quite a vetting process. And we are a little bit of a go big or go home company. So we decided, hey, we want to not only do we want to support the organization, we want to support the players. And Megan Kang was the one who came out on top. It was very, yes. It was important for us to have somebody local. FM is based in Johnston, Rhode Island, and has a large presence in Massachusetts as well. And Megan, with her roots in Massachusetts and everything that she had been doing on tour, was just a really good fit and a great personality for us. And she too has learned a lot about engineering that she didn't think she would learn either. And right away, I think the chemistry with us, and we announced right at the same time. It was just right off the bat, we knew it was somebody that could represent our brand. Again, we're not looking for somebody to go out and talk about engineering and all the technicalities, but we're really looking for somebody to talk about the value that we bring to our clients in the communities beyond them. And we had her at our learning center probably 6 months into the relationship with our CEO, Malcolm Roberts, and we did this tour. It's the learning center. There's this flood table and things that they do with lighting, and they chip over trucks. And the whole premise is, and she said it on demand, it was amazing. She said, oh, I get it. I get what you guys do. If you're protecting a business from a flood, and they don't have a flood, and they stay in business, then all the people in the community keep their jobs, right? And we just were like, did you read a booklet on this? Did you? And my CEO couldn't even speak. So she got it, and that's what we were looking for, was somebody that could help us communicate the broader value of what we did. That's how it started. Shortly after that, we signed with Boston Common Golf to support TGL, and then it's continued on. We're still focused in golf, but who knows what the future will hold for us as an organization over the next 5 to 15 years.
Right.
20.
And on that, obviously you guys are supportive of the women's sports, and we've kind of been in the shadow on the LPGA, in numbers of financials, and you've been in the agency world, the property world of LPGA, and you've done a lot of women's events. I know you were at Octagon, Outlier. How is it interacting with a brand that's stepping up to the table, and then obviously it's elevating the event itself, a premier event? Like, how has your experience scaled? Like, how have you seen that growth in terms of financial backing, brand, awareness, and so forth?
Yeah, it's been kind of amazing, and I think it's really taken off over the last 5 to 6 years, where you are seeing some of this support again. Like, our athletes are on their own dime, week in and week out, and so to be able to sort of take a step back, where accommodations are taken care of by a title partner or a local community partner, is a massive relief. We're doing a missed-cut stipend, which we did last year. We'll continue to do again this year, where they're guaranteed money, even if our players do miss the cut. And so we are starting to see a trend in that direction. Purses are starting to increase in the right direction. Will we ever be the PGA Tour? No, but I think we are starting to see some competition there, and again, I think rising tides lifts all boats, and I think if other title partners start seeing the work that FM and a few others are doing in the space, it's only going to get better. I think there's a few things on the table right now from an organization perspective that could increase some of that funding as well, including our TV rights deal that our new commissioner, I'm sure, is number one on his list of items to get through. So definitely seen an increase in the support that we're seeing from not only partners but broadcast partners as well over the last 5-6 years.
Yep. I know the veterans from the LPGA Tour, when I was playing, they're like, man, I wish I played when you played with the Purses. Now I wish I still play, because these PGA guys are retiring. Well, yeah, so I guess just kind of wrap things up. I mean, if no one went to the event last year, I strongly encourage going down there. It's an all-week party, if you will, and spectating. FM has a ton of events going on alongside it. The LPGA, I'm sure, is going to launch a collaborative events. The Ouimet scholars will be out there caddying, or the alums and so forth. But any lasting remarks about the event, or anything coming up to kind of pitch to the group to show support?
We're super excited for August 25th to the 31st, and everybody is welcome there. Obviously, our partnership with Ouimet and Colin. So honestly, if we can get you out there, let us know. Get in touch with us. Get in touch with Colin again. I think one thing we pride ourselves on is being a very community and youth-friendly event. Mm-hmm. We are free to youth under 17. So again, I think we're continuing to build on a great foundation that we set in year one. I'm excited to see what's to come in 2025. We are our field has been enhanced massively. Last year we were in a tough spot with the schedule. But I will say we're 10 out of the world's top 10 right now, already committed, which in this time frame, still being 2 months out, is pretty incredible. So again, very accessible product. If you want to come see the world's best golfers, honestly, this is the spot to do it. So looking forward to another great event out of TPC Boston.
Love it.
Great. Sam?